It is 1957, a quiet morning outside Sao Paulo, Brazil. A farmer walks toward his beehives, just like every other day. The air is warm, the birds are singing, everything feels normal. Then, it happens. A sound begins, low at first, then overwhelming. Thousands of bees explode from the hive in a single black, boiling cloud. The farmer drops everything and runs, but they follow. For more than 400 meters, the swarm pursues him without stopping, without mercy. He survives, but the world would never be the same. This is not a horror film. This is a true story, and it is the beginning of one of the most extraordinary ecological disasters in modern history. Today, we are talking about the Africanized bee, the insect that science created, nature weaponized, and no government on Earth has been able to stop. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear will completely change the way you look at a simple bee. To understand what the Africanized bee is, you need to understand the man who created it and the problem he was trying to solve. His name was Warwick Kerr, a Brazilian geneticist, brilliant, ambitious, and deeply committed to improving life in his country. In the early 1950s, Brazil had a serious problem. Its honey production was struggling. The European honeybees that beekeepers were using were not built for the tropical climate of South America. They produced less honey, got sick more easily, and could not keep up with the demands of a growing industry. Kerr had a bold idea. African honeybees, specifically the Tanzanian subspecies Apis mellifera scutellata, were extraordinary, stronger, faster, more resistant to disease, more adapted to heat and humidity, and significantly more productive. If he could crossbreed the African bee with the European bee, he could create a super bee, perfectly engineered for tropical agriculture. In 1956, with government support, Kerr traveled to Tanzania and brought back 35 queen bees. He set up a controlled research station in Sao Paulo. 26 queens survived and began producing colonies. The science was working. Everything was going exactly according to plan. Then came the mistake that changed history. In 1957, a visiting beekeeper came to the station. He noticed special screens on the hive entrances called queen excluders, designed to keep the swarms locked inside. He did not understand why they were there. He thought they were unnecessary, so he removed them. 26 swarms flew out into the Brazilian jungle and disappeared. Think about that. 26 swarms released into one of the most biodiverse ecosystems on the planet, with no way to retrieve them and no way to stop what was about to unfold. Scientists were concerned, but no one truly understood the scale of what had been set in motion. Some believed the jungle would contain them. Others thought the swarms would mix with local populations and lose their aggressive traits. They were wrong on both counts. Within a few years, reports came flooding in from across rural Brazil. Unusually aggressive swarms, animals and people being chased and stung hundreds of times. Something was spreading fast. The Africanized bee was born. Not in a laboratory success. At that moment, in 1957, no one knew they were watching the start of an expansion that would cross 10 countries, enter the United States, and be responsible for the deaths of over 1,000 human beings. Now that you know how it began, let us talk about what makes this bee so relentlessly dangerous. When most people hear the words killer bee, they imagine something larger, more powerful, physically superior. The truth is far more unsettling. The Africanized bee is almost identical to the European honeybee in size and appearance. You cannot tell the difference with the naked eye. Even experienced beekeepers need laboratory analysis to identify them. They look the same. They live the same way. But the way they respond to a threat is on a completely different level. A European honeybee colony sends out 10 to 20 guard bees when disturbed, chasing a threat for roughly 50 meters before returning. That is the bee most of us grew up understanding. The Africanized bee operates by entirely different rules. When threatened, it mobilizes the entire hive. Colonies can contain up to 80,000 individuals, all responding to a single alarm signal with coordinated, relentless aggression. They respond to vibrations, dark colors, strong smells, sudden movements from up to 15 meters away. Once triggered, they do not stop at 50 meters. Documented cases show swarms pursuing victims for over 800 meters, maintaining attacks for up to 30 minutes. Running is not enough. Hiding in water is not enough, because they will wait. The venom of a single Africanized bee sting is no more toxic than a regular European honeybee sting. The reason people die is not the poison in each sting, it is the number of stings in a very short time. The estimated lethal dose for an average adult is around 1,100 stings. In a full attack, a victim can receive that number within minutes. This is not a creature more dangerous because it is stronger. It is more dangerous because it is more committed, more coordinated, and more prepared to sacrifice every member of the colony. And now that we understand what we are dealing with, the next question is just as disturbing. How far did they go? From the moment those 26 swarms escaped in 1957, the Africanized bee began moving, and it never stopped. Their expansion was methodical, biological, driven by one of the most powerful forces in nature. They moved at an average of 500 kilometers per year, adapting to every terrain and every climate they entered. By 1982, they had reached Venezuela. By 1986, Colombia and Peru. Through the late 1980s, they swept through Central America, Guatemala, Honduras, Panama. Each country fell in turn. In 1990, they crossed into the United States through Texas. Scientists had predicted that cold northern winters would act as a natural barrier. That prediction was wrong. The bees adapted. By 2000, they were firmly established across Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, and Florida. No fence stopped them, no border turned them back. They moved because biology does not negotiate. And the stories they left behind on that march north are the ones we are going to hear now. Numbers tell part of the story, but the human reality lives in individual moments, in ordinary days that turned into nightmares without warning. In 1986 in Costa Rica, a man working in his garden triggered a hidden colony nearby. He received over 800 stings before reaching shelter. He survived, but spent 3 weeks in hospital as his kidneys and liver struggled to process the venom. He never fully recovered. In 2013 in Texas, an 83-year-old man was mowing his lawn when his mower passed too close to a ground nest. Within moments, he was covered. His neighbor ran outside to help. Both men were engulfed. The elderly man did not survive. His neighbor was airlifted to hospital in critical condition. In 2015 in Arizona, a homeowner opened an exterior wall during renovation work. Hidden inside was a colony that had been growing for months. The swarm killed both of his dogs before he reached safety. He spent days in intensive care. These are not rare exceptions. Across the American South, emergency services now train specifically for Africanized bee attack scenarios. The phrase mass stinging event did not exist in emergency management vocabulary before these bees arrived. Survivors describe the same experience, a sound that fills every direction, a physical pressure from thousands of bodies, a pain like being submerged in fire, and the understanding in those first seconds that there is no fighting back. But this story is not only about death and fear, because beneath the terror, something else has been unfolding that almost nobody talks about. When the Africanized bee swept through Latin America, it restructured entire industries. Across Brazil, Venezuela, and Mexico, beekeeping was transformed completely. Equipment became heavier and more expensive. Management techniques changed fundamentally. In some regions of Brazil, over 60% of independent beekeepers ceased operations within a decade. The economic damage to rural communities was real and lasting. And yet here is the twist that changes everything. The Africanized bee is an extraordinarily effective pollinator. Its aggressive foraging behavior means it travels further, works faster, and visits more plant species per day than the European honeybee it displaced. In tropical ecosystems, plant communities began adapting around its presence. Some researchers now argue that removing it from regions where it's been established for decades would itself cause ecological disruption. The most feared bee in the Western Hemisphere may also be one of its most essential ones. That paradox leads directly to the hardest question: can we stop it? The honest answer from most entomologists is no. Full eradication is not a realistic goal. The population is too large, too dispersed, and too deeply integrated into the landscapes it occupies. The focus has shifted to coexistence, management, and damage reduction. Drone programs in the American Southwest are mapping feral hive locations before they reach human populations. Genetic research is exploring whether reintroducing European traits into wild populations could reduce aggression over generations. Public awareness campaigns teach communities how to recognize hidden colonies and respond if an attack begins. But meaningful change across wild populations would take decades, and the bees keep moving. We did not create a weapon. We created a species, and unlike a weapon, you cannot simply switch it off. The story of the Africanized bee is not just about bees. It is about the limits of human control over nature, about what happens when we move a piece of the natural world from one place to another, believing we understand the consequences, and discovering too late that we never did. The cane toad in Australia, the kudzu vine in America, the Nile perch in Lake Victoria. The Africanized bee is one more chapter in a very long and very costly book. The difference is that this chapter stings back. If this video got you thinking, show it. Click like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And most importantly, help shape the next story. Let me know in the comments which invasive species you'd like to see covered in the next video. Your curiosity could decide the next topic, so I can't wait to read your ideas.